Hello.
Welcome back to part two of Many to Come. To start off, recap for those who didn't see the last video. It was more of an introduction session. It was more of understanding what we what we would like to see accomplished in these videos, in these sessions. It was more asking about childhood, where you were born, where you're from, what you like to do as a
I'm
child.
62, right?
62,
And
26,
you are 62, right?
26, 62. Full 180.
So you just got married?
Just got married December 7th, 2024. Month in and some change, loving it. Every day is different, every day is new, but it's gonna be a fun ride.
Okay.
It's gonna be a fun ride.
And I've been married, what, 34 years, right?
34
years.
34,
So
35,
this
yeah.
35 years.
That's a
like
blessing.
that,
It's
right?
beautiful.
Yeah, so it's been that long for me. And,
Yeah.
so this long for me, that long for you, right?
Correct. All right. So my name is Anderson Alston, and why that is so my full name is Anderson Charles Van Alston. Anderson is my great grandfather's name.
So hold on. So this is
Boom.
your great grandfather, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I named you after him.
Correct.
Right? And so this is my grandfather. He's the first man that loved me. I adored him. To me, he was like a god, little G, right?
Yeah.
I adored this man,
Right.
right? And then he was born, I think, 1902 in North Carolina, Warren County. His family came off of a plantation called the Cherry Hill Plantation in Warren County, North Carolina. That's north.
And we visited that a couple times.
Yeah.
Going up. Yeah.
Northeast of Raleigh, Durham.
Yeah.
So this is Anderson, and his mother and father,
Yeah.
Laura Perry Alston,
Right.
Henderson Alston,
Right.
And then his mom and dad, Taft and
Crazy.
Ann, who were enslaved. One or both of them were stolen from Nigeria, and Taft and their son, Henderson and Laura, their son, my grandfather, your great grandfather, Anderson. So when I knew I was going to have you,
Yeah.
I knew what your name was going to be.
Right.
Because the name Anderson is a revered name in our family.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to be called Anderson.
Right.
So I wasn't given that name. So
Right.
I gave that name to you.
Thank you.
Right?
For that. Yeah.
I love this man like crazy.
Yeah.
This was my grandfather. I love the sight of him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So
Yes.
Anderson.
Anderson. That's the first name. Got it.
Mhm.
Second name, Charles. That is my mother's grandfather's name. So that's still my great grandfather. So I got two greats in this, the first two names, Anderson Charles Van. My father's middle name is Van.
That's him right there.
Oh,
See, on the same level.
Yeah.
This is my half.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
mom's side.
Uh-huh.
So this is your great grandfather, and you knew him. He cut your hair, right?
Yes.
You knew him.
Wait, Klondike bars together.
I think he was what, 97 when he died.
97, 98. Yeah. Lived a
Okay.
long, prosperous life.
So on your side,
Yes.
named after him, Charles.
Yes.
My side, Anderson. Right?
Yes. And then back to Van is my father's middle name.
It used to be.
Correct.
Long time ago.
And then Alston is the family name. And so your name, sir.
So I was given the name. I don't say it anymore. I'll spell it. I just can't get with it anymore.
Yeah.
Norman. I call it the N word. That's the name I was given, right? But that's not who I ever was.
Right.
I found out who I am.
Right.
So that's why I was renamed
Right.
in Africa
Yeah.
during the pandemic.
Yeah. On your visit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Akin.
Powerful.
It means the brave one.
That's what you are.
Thank you.
Always have been.
So in the Yoruba language,
Mhm.
and I wanted the names our ancestors from Africa would have known.
Yeah.
So a family in Africa, I spent the first part of the pandemic, as you remember, in
Right.
Africa.
Right.
And that family told me, as I described him,
Mm-hmm.
they told me that such a man we call Akin.
Right.
He is Akin.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what does it mean? They said, well, it's a prefix.
Right.
Akin Tunde, Akin Daya, Akin Wole.
Yeah.
Right. But since we were stolen away, I only went
would
with
know.
just the first part, Akin,
That's what
to
it's
show the brokenness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Akin means the brave one. He was the brave one. He was the patriarch of our family, the greatest Alston we ever have known.
Me.
This man was that man.
Yeah.
He is revered. So you have that
Powerful, brother. Yeah. Lives through me. All right. So now we've all caught up. Part 2, session 2, conversation 2. All right. Risk. What is your feelings when you hear that word? What is your life tied to when you hear that word? How do you feel about the word risk?
So I've always been a risk taker.
True.
So you know that I've been self-employed. I've been
my whole life.
Right.
Yeah, and then some. Yeah.
I've been an entrepreneur.
Right.
I'm a solopreneur.
Right.
Right. I've met payrolls before. I've had lots of people. Sometimes I still do.
Mm-hmm.
Quite often when I leave the house or work from home, it's solo. So I'm a solopreneur. So that's risk, right?
Yeah.
So in all the years that you've known me as your father, I've never really had a job.
Correct.
I mean, we have a house, we do things.
Made money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made jobs.
So I do things. I create my own employment.
Correct.
Based upon things I'm passionate about. But that has required me to take risks and chances, right? And some of those things have gone great for me, and other times they've gone not as great as I would have liked them to have gone, right?
Right.
So I want you to take risks all of your life, right? And not to be afraid or not to be risk averse and live in fear and cower and not make decisions. So
correct.
There's a Danish philosopher. He lived in the first half of the 19th century. His name was Søren Kierkegaard. Søren Kierkegaard. And he said the greatest risk in the first half of a young man's life is not to take the risk. In the first half of your life when you're young. See, the first half of my life really was over a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I'm really past the second half. I'm late into the second half. I just am, right?
Yeah.
So he said the greatest risk in the first half of a young man's life is not to take the risk. So I want you to take the risk.
Yes, sir.
Why do you do it when you're young? Because you have the energy, the physical fitness, the stamina, your mind, right? And you're just hungry and you want to go after and pursue all the good things this life has for you.
100%.
So if you're risk averse and you're always, scared, right?
Yeah, watching when the wind blows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you don't do great things, right? So you want to be a person who's not afraid to take chances. And I don't mean to be reckless or
correct,
wild.
Yeah.
Right? But don't be afraid, right?
Yeah, get off the bench.
So when I went to college,
big risk.
right?
Yeah.
I had already been homeless in Seattle. A teacher took me in at Garfield High School, and I lived with him right at the Vashon Ferry Docks.
That's exactly where it's at.
Yeah. His house was right next to the Vashon Ferry Docks. So it was a really great setup for me.
Big time.
Right.
Beautiful view.
His wife had no children, and he was my teacher. He took me in.
Beautiful, yeah.
When I was in high school. And so when I left Seattle, I decided to go to Howard University. No money. All I had was my bus ticket and the papers that they accepted me. So I get back to Howard, and when I'm there registering for classes, this woman looks at me and says, when I'm paying at the bursar's office, I'm supposed to be paying, she says, where's your mother? She says, where's your father? All the kids, mom was here, dad
right
was
next
here,
door.
family with them. Me, 18, Seattle, all by myself.
Right.
I'm taking a risk.
Big time. Huge.
And the woman said, wait, let me understand something. You're from Seattle, Washington, and you don't have money for tuition? I said to her, you accepted me. She says, yeah, but young man, where's your money? I said, I don't have any money. She's like, you came to Washington, D.C. from Seattle, Washington to go to Howard University and you have no money? Just go sit over there. Yeah. Well, something happened, but in those years between that day and graduation, a lot of things happened to me. Right. But I took the risk.
True.
Okay? So when you see a situation in your life that comes up and you really feel it in your heart, then don't think about going from A to Z. Just get halfway between A and B. Take that step. And as soon as you get afraid, like I was, go anyway. You're going to be afraid. Because I was afraid. But also, too, I was young. Like, what did I have to lose? Nothing. True. What did I have here in Seattle? Nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Right?
That's what Billy Preston said.
That's what he said. So you got to go out there and do something, right? So it's easy. Right. But I want you to be a risk taker. Yes, sir. Calculate the risks and think about it. So,
yes, sir.
Let me also say this to you, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to listen to you.
No, please. Back and forth.
So, what I'm doing now today, because I'm a mathematician.
Correct.
I'm an educator. Right. I'm a solopreneur. I've been self-employed for 31 years.
Right.
That's not how I started. There were things I did well before that, before you even born.
You said you sell paper route.
A lot of things, right? Jumped out of airplanes, helicopters.
Yeah.
A lot of things I did. But what you're doing right now, whatever it is, you're 26.
Correct.
In 10 years, you won't be doing this.
Correct.
Or somehow it'll be different, or change, a twist, or a spin on it.
Inverted, something.
But all of these guys right here, they were always entrepreneurs.
100%. And you told me stories about this one right here.
Right.
Yeah.
And so whatever you're doing, just know that maybe there will be an opportunity for you to do it for yourself.
100%.
And that you shouldn't be afraid to take that risk. So your occupation, my occupation, being an entrepreneur, is a hazard.
Yeah,
right? Because I don't know how it's going to turn out all the time. But I always wanted to be free. See, they were enslaved.
Correct.
First generation free.
Correct.
So my grandfather's parents were enslaved. Right?
That's not that far.
My grandfather's grandparents were enslaved.
Grandfather's grandparents.
Right. My grandfather's grandparents. My grandfather's parents were born during Reconstruction, 1865 to 1877. Right. As we're rebuilding the country from Civil War. That period of time is called Reconstruction. That era. So then you got to take chances. And if they can take chances,
then really, why can't I?
Right. And really, why can't you? Why
should
you?
Correct.
So don't be afraid to risk it. The greatest risk in the first half of a young man's life is not to take the risk. Be a person not afraid. Don't be risky.
I know that's gone up a lot of people's heads. You've probably heard that before.
Yeah.
So personal motto. You've told me you've had one. I've never heard it. I would love to hear it, sir. What is your personal motto?
I have a personal motto. And it ties into risk taking.
Yeah.
And so when I was 19 years old, I decided to join the Army, became a paratrooper, did a lot of things like that back in those days, right?
Yeah.
My personal motto was who dares wins. Who dares wins. And I'm not going to tell you where that came from, but there's an organization. I won't even describe those dudes and what they do and what they did, right?
Yeah.
But their personal motto was who dares wins.
That's deep.
Right?
That's deep.
Well, that means daring to do what? To take the risk.
To go out.
To go out.
To go into the unknown.
Right? Because when you left this house, you were taking a what?
A risk.
A risk.
Right.
And you went out into the what? Unknown. But I didn't send you out empty-handed like I went out empty-handed. Right?
Correct.
You didn't go out empty-handed.
No.
Right? Hey, remember the day?
Here we go.
This is a story that doesn't cast me in the best light.
Right.
Is your father.
Right.
And that's okay too, right? So I'm going to tell you, and then you pick it up.
Yeah, got you.
I'm coming up. We live on like a half acre here.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be done here.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be doing those sorts of things and
taking
care of that.
For sure. That's my role.
I think the 1/8 of this property, that part of it's just nothing but grass.
Grass,
So we're grass farmers, so you have to tend to that.
Correct.
So I'm coming up the driveway one day after probably commuting for an hour.
True.
Hour and 10 minutes, right?
That could have led to that.
So just getting to the driveway, coming up the long driveway, here's how I see you playing basketball, and I was like, all of this.
I'm glad we can laugh about this now.
Yeah, it wasn't funny.
Yeah, it wasn't funny back then at all.
Pick it up from there.
All right. So as he says, he comes up, he sees me shooting some hoops. I probably got my AirPods in, something, doing what I'm doing. And then he parks the car, he jumps out, and then he just begins to bark at me. Nothing obscene, no obscenity, no profanity. But he's just yelling at me, if you will, to where only he and I can hear it. And he goes, "Why don't you? Why didn't the grass cut? Why isn't the trash taken out? Why isn't this done? Why isn't this done?
Why haven't you cut the grass?"
Yeah. And it was just I don't know it, but something in me was just this is the last time that this type of communication style will be had. So I paused, I heard him, I didn't do any moves, any facial expressions. I listened to him and I said, "Can you please not yell at me?" And I said it just like that. I didn't yell, I didn't get big. I just said, "Man, bro, I just got off work too. I came out here to shoot a little bit and then I'm right back into doing everything you just said." I said, "Why do you have to talk to me like this? Why are you yelling at me?" And it was I grew up where that's not how I spoke to my father. That was my first time ever speaking to him. And that, what was I? If I wasn't 17, I was 18.
Something like that.
I said 18. I said 18.
Yeah.
And I genuinely thought that he was gonna pop me in my chest. I thought he was gonna push me. I thought he was gonna yell back. I thought he was gonna cuss at me. But he did.
That never cussed at you.
No, you would never.
Yeah.
But that's why.
I don't do
Exactly.
that to my
He doesn't.
Erase that. Right?
Correct. But what he did do was the complete opposite. He kind of chuckled a little bit, baby tear, and then he gave me a hug. And I'm thinking, and when he's hugging me, I'm like this because I'm still not knowing like what's really gonna happen. And then he goes, before he said about that situation, he goes, Anderson, you did it right. And I goes, what are you talking about? He was like, Anderson, I did the same thing when I was your age. And he said, my dad was ear deaf. He couldn't hear me when I was trying to make my stance into manhood, when I was trying to move forward. And he said, I love you and I respect you for how you did it. And he was like, I see you, we're good. And then like, I think he actually went and did what he was asking me to do. I think he went and cut the grass. I think he went and took the trash out. And then I think we talked more that evening. But it was just more so like my introduction to manhood, how he would call it. But see, when I'm that age, I'm not thinking I'm doing something as big as I'm doing. I'm thinking I'm just finally standing up for myself, if you will. But it was such a bold moment on both of our parts. And I think he handled that very, very well. Because I wasn't rude and wasn't disrespectful. I was maybe a surprise reaction that he wasn't ready for, but I wasn't like, get out of my face, stop yelling, shut up. It wasn't anything exchanged in that manner. I was like, Dad, why do you talk like this? I said, I was going to do it. I'm on my way to do it. As soon as you coming up, it was funny. As soon as you coming up, I was getting ready to go right back in, change clothes, all that kind of stuff. So all in all, that was a very beautiful moment, and it could have went bad. Not physical, but it just could have been a bad moment. And it wasn't a bad moment. It was a growing moment. And so I actually want to hear less about me on the whole story part. How did you feel in that moment? How did you feel months after that moment? Because I actually never got your 2 cents on that side.
That was a long time ago.
That was
maybe
2016, 2017?
7 years ago.
Yeah, 7, 8 years ago. Yeah.
It's a while ago.
8 for sure. Yeah.
So let me see. So I realized in that moment, because you had never. You always been my little boy, right? You do what I tell you to, right? Or you do what I tell you to, right? And this time, you kind of said, hey, Dad,
ease up.
Don't talk to me like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, whoa, right? So it tweaked me for
yeah. A little pinch in the side. Yeah.
It tweaked me a little bit.
Shot. Yeah.
But then I realized in an instant, right, that's what I tried to do one day when I was 16 with my father, and it got really ugly. Yeah. And he didn't handle it the right way. Right. He was doing something to me that day that he should not have been doing to me. Right. And he was doing it the wrong way, right? Mm-hmm. And since he didn't like me anyway, then he didn't have the moral authority to talk to me like he did.
Correct.
See, we weren't cool anyway.
Correct.
Right? We were always estranged. Correct. So now you're just getting on me, right?
Right. And you and I never had what you needed. Never that.
So that was the day I left home.
Yeah. You said you threw your stuff in the car.
I threw my stuff in the car.
Yeah.
And I started sofa service, sleeping in my car, doing whatever I had to do. I never went home again. That was my last day at home. So when you and I had that, I had a flashback, and I said, my son's just trying to tell me, Dad, respect me as a man. I'm an adult now, right? Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know it was going to happen that day when I got up that morning. When I came home, this is what I found in you. Someone says I'm a man to his father, so don't make it a bad thing, Dad. Accept it, right?
Yeah.
Accept it, right? Love you. And be okay with it.
Correct.
Right? And so, that's what that was for me. I just realized that, when that happened for me, it wasn't good. It was a very ugly, bad day. Yeah. And I never went home again to this very day. Okay, so then don't make that mistake, Akeem.
Yeah, twice. Yeah.
Right? See,
once for you and then once for him.
See, that was done to me.
Correct.
So don't do it to my son.
Right.
Give him a different response when he tells you just to respect me as a man, Dad.
Mm-hmm. And I got something right there because I got a question for you. This question might come up in different ways in multiple conversations moving forward. How are you able to continuously give what you never got, display what you never saw, and do what was never done for you? How are you able to? Because I honestly think that's one strong skill that you possess. Because it's like on the Rosa Parks, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have said. I would have taken it as just blatant disrespect, and it wasn't. But like, I just don't know what I would have done because like you are able to continuously throughout my whole childhood, specifically, able to give me the experiences that you never had, give me the parent that you never received. That's how are you able to do that? And it was never done and displayed to you.
Well, first of all, it's just the grace of God.
Yes, sir.
And so I can't really act like I was anything that great. I really can't. I think God just put something in me to love you in a way that my father wasn't able to love me. He was never gonna.
Yeah.
And so then I was able to see that if I wasn't different for you, then this pain was going to perpetuate because there's something in our family you don't know, but this Anderson right here,
correct.
He and his father couldn't get along. They just couldn't get along. He left home, 15, 16, and he never saw his father again alive. When he left home, he never saw his father home alive. When he went home to see his father again, it was at his funeral. Good Lord, right? And that's why he's kept all of our family out of North Carolina. He never wanted to be there, so he went. So he left there.
Other side of this country,
Virginia, Michigan, and California, and then California. He brought all of us up
right,
because he had a rip from his father.
Right.
So this is a generational thing.
So it's been just happening.
Kind of.
I mean, not that you would know back
I don't
here,
know, but
you know for sure
have that problem in a major way.
Okay. So our relationship is nothing short of a cycle being broken in general.
Except my father and his father were like this.
Wow. Okay.
They were close.
That I never knew. Okay.
My father has inherited a lot of property and possessions and wealth from him.
Yes.
And they were always close. But see, my father would go wherever he went, whatever he did.
Yeah.
He was a builder. He was a trade.
He was a shadow for a long time.
My father was. So my father and his father were really close.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't able to pass that on to me. And that's another story. But he wasn't. But I decided that going forward, there can't be this relationship between a father and his son.
Yeah. Because
it's just too hard to get over it and work past it.
Right.
Into these later years of my life.
Right.
And I'm past now, reconcile it, and make my peace with it, but it was hard. It was hard to do.
Yeah. And I've been to a lot of funerals in the past 5 years. Not like a lot, like a big number, but I've just been to some, and it just kind of gets me thinking. Like at the end of a person's life, it's like yo, what was we beefing for? What what were we not speaking for? What why do we not have a relationship we could have had or whatever? And so we went to a family funeral not too long ago. 3 weeks ago. And I'm sitting there, and it was a lady I love dearly, and I'm just looking at like, man, like what relationships weren't mended? What what conversations weren't had, all because of whatever. But it's just like, I'm honored to have the relationship I have with you. I love the relationship I have with you. And it's just, it's cool to be able to call you dog sometimes. It's cool to get a text and you're like, bro, let's go get a steak. Let's do it. I'm all game. But thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for not turning that situation into the situation you came out of. That was beautiful. All right. Iron sharpens iron. What Bible verse is that?
It's in Proverbs.
Okay.
Don't hate me if I can't tell you exactly Proverbs. Right?
I love it. That's my favorite book of the Bible.
Well, we used to read it together.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I think I once told you that if you took away every book of the Bible, and there was only Proverbs left, you took away everything
you would still be a great man.
You could still live a great life.
100%.
And do great things. Because the Proverbs are full of
just
wisdom and instruction.
Yes, guidance,
wisdom and instruction. So iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. So you hang around good men.
Very good men.
They're a little older than you, and some of them are a lot older than you. And growing up, I always tried to find good, strong dudes.
Correct. Yeah.
I just like good men. I just love strong men. I just really like good men.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and as again, I've said to you, remember Brother Jack? We mentioned him
Yeah.
last week. He was your Sunday
Real
school
good
teacher.
dude. Real good dude.
And
Cared about
he did. And so I've always wanted you to have a surrogacy
Yeah.
of men,
Yeah.
right, who stood in my place,
Right.
or even not in my place, but they just had my values,
Yeah.
but they would just be good, solid men, right?
Yeah.
Because iron sharpens iron.
That's
right.
Yeah.
And so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend, and he makes you better. And then the men who've been close to me
100%.
in this life, and then
100%.
a lot of them are gone now.
Right.
And so they'll never be replaced. But
Correct.
there are other men that kind of come alongside
and mimic their likeness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. But that thing.
So outside of the situation that you and I had years ago that we recently spoke of, can you name another pivotal moment in your life where when you were 20, 30, 40, 50, where something that you know needed to be done in that moment to where when you did it the way you did it proved to be a better outcome?
Yeah, it sounds like you're prompting me to tell a story, and you're not, because you don't know what I'm going to say.
Right, I know. But that's what I like about this.
Incidentally, I did a Facebook post earlier today, and I was in Southeast Seattle because this month marks the 15th year of uninterrupted Saturday Math Academy service to Black and brown kids, underserved, the neediest kids in Southeast Seattle.
That deserves a round of applause.
Thank you. So how I came to that work was a pivotal moment.
Right.
Because, my background in college is media, advertising, marketing. I used to work in Chicago at the Leo Burnett.
You said you used to do something with advertising on top of taxi cab?
Well, yeah.
Or something similar.
We used to do that too. So we started taxi advertising business here in Seattle.
There you go.
Before that, I worked in Chicago at a place called Leo Burnett USA. Cinnamon rolls, quick bread, already pie crust. I was on the prepared dough products account for Pillsbury. Right at the ad agency.
What year was that?
This was 1980s, late 80s. I think I left there in like 1989.
Okay.
1990, something like that.
Okay.
In Chicago. I hated the job.
How long were you in Chicago? Lived in Chicago?
A little over a year.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay.
I used to think you were there for long.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't. It was a stint. Right?
It was a little work thing. Yeah.
It got too cold one winter.
No, I've heard it on Chicago.
I don't like cold, right? So,
not that time.
I mean, snow in April, snow in May. It was ridiculous. I can't live in Chicago. But anyway, so that was my background. But I didn't like that.
Yeah.
So I came to Seattle, and but let me move this forward a little bit.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Your mother had a friend named Cynthia Costin, and she met Cynthia because Cynthia had a daughter that was your oldest sister's age. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so these two moms would be at the bus stop, putting the girls on the bus. The girls sat next to each other. They went to a school in Northeast Seattle called Bagley Elementary School near Green Lake. That's where they went and they got bused up there. Yeah. And one Sunday we came home from church, we turned on the news, and we found out that the little girl at the age of 9 had been shot to death. Right? You weren't alive then.
No.
So this is a pivotal moment in my life. Right. So Sunday I hear that this girl at the age of 9 had got shot to death in Southeast Seattle in front of Aki Karosi, minding her own business. At the age of 9, what could she have been doing? Right? Nothing. It was terrible. So I went to the family's home that Monday, because it turned out that your grandmother was the daycare provider. After school, the little girl went to your grandmother's house. So this little girl is our family.
Yeah. Dear.
Yeah, but I don't remember meeting her. Her name was Loetta, Loetta Costin. Beautiful. Coston, Loetta Costin. So I go to the family's house off Yesler, and I say to them, and in those days, King County had a prosecutor. His name was Norm Maleng, Maleng, Norm Maleng. Wow. And he was leaving the house, King County prosecutor, talking to the family, shook his hand, spoke to him, and I went inside the house, and I had told the family how they were connected to me about your mom and their mother, their daughter, and everything. I'm talking to the head of the family, which was the grandfather. And I said, sir, listen, you don't know me, but your family is involved with my family in this way. And I know you don't have the money, or nobody has some kind of policy to bear the child. I said, so let me raise the money to bear this little girl. So I went out begging.
Mm-hmm.
There was no GoFundMe.
Right,
There was nothing like that. This is 1993, right?
Yeah.
And I'm working in advertising and marketing. I have a taxi advertising business here,
Mm-hmm.
and I was putting up taxi ads in Seattle,
Beautiful.
right?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I used to do in Chicago. That's what I do here.
Right.
But we're talking about a pivotal moment.
Yes, sir.
This little girl's death was a pivotal moment in my house, in my life, excuse me, when I went to their family's house and I raised about $3,500, a measly, a paltry sum, to make all the funeral. I made all the funeral arrangements.
Yeah.
Went over to Bellevue. I think the cemetery is called Sunset. I bought a plot for her.
Wow.
I settled all of the accounts, and then I think maybe at the end of that, I had maybe $1,000. I gave that to the grandfather.
Naturally.
Gave that to the family.
Yeah, please.
And then I just kind of sat still for a long time. And when I came to myself, I said, you know what? I don't know how, but I'm going to become a teacher, an educator, because people who have hope probably don't pick up a gun and snuff out the life of a 9-year-old little girl. Her death was a defining moment in my life. The day that little girl died, I screamed and wailed. I was angry. I got to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been the same. And there are times when I'm by myself, I still weep and grieve for that child. If she was alive, she would have been 40 years old.
Yeah, but same age as my sister.
Same age as your older sister.
Mm-hmm.
So her death, it just crushed me.
Yeah.
But it caused me to become an educator.
Yeah.
Not a teacher.
Moves you into action.
An educator.
Yeah.
So in your life, you're gonna wake up one morning. You'll never know what morning it's gonna be, and something will definitively happen to steer you in a different course or change the whole trajectory of your life. Yeah. And you want to kind of be sensitive that these kind of things are going on.
Yeah.
And say, oh wow, is this one of those pivotal moments? So that's how I became an educator. Yeah. Right. And let me just say one more thing about this, because this is about 2010 when I started Math Academy. Remember Elijah Juan Brown?
That was a good dude, solid,
right?
Brother. Solid. I love him.
We loved him.
Yeah.
He came to Saturday Math Academy.
And he started as a
TA.
Yeah.
One of teens teaching, right?
And he was hungry to learn.
He was
hungry to help.
So he was there with me. I remember he could pick up Haley and toss all around.
Yeah. He was the biggest 12-year-old I ever saw in my life.
He was a man-child at the age of 12.
He would have been in the NFL going to get a Super Bowl this year. No question.
He was an athlete.
He was a bad
football player. He was a good dude.
Real good dude.
And so
smart.
Martin Luther King Jr. Way. At South 129.
Skyway over there on 7-11. Yeah.
He was shot to death at the age of 12.
We were having dinner upstairs when you guys got a call.
Yeah.
And like we all stopped eating, and you were like, you, your sister, you guys gotta stay here. We gotta go check on what's going on.
And I said,
you came back like
it just crushed me. I'm like, I'm tired. I hate violence. You have no idea. I've gone to 2 funerals of kids from our neighborhood, from our community. I'm so tired of it. It's terrible.
Correct.
And so so being in that same neighborhood, I was maybe a mile from where he was killed this morning. Yeah. For 3 hours.
Correct.
With kids in that neighborhood, the community center. Because this is just the work. Yeah. So when that little girl got killed, I became a teacher. I said, I don't care about advertising and marketing anymore. This is my course. So I don't think probably you've had, it doesn't have to be such an earth-shattering, painful moment like that. Right. Something pivotal is going to happen that's, 100%. Again, monumental.
Yes.
So you have a pivotal moment, monumental, a pivotal moment that will change definitively the course of your life. Your trajectory in an instant will change. Be aware of that. Hopefully it won't be anything so catastrophic and tragic as that, as I experienced. But just know that something's going to happen. Whereas your life progresses, things will happen, and you got to pivot. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I became an educator.
Lovely.
It's not a good story.
Well, the kids and adults and parents are better for it, for your pivotal moment, because of how you're able to bless others. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. Always a silver lining. All right. Last but not least, occupation. You kind of spoke about that multiple throughout here. But anyway, there's something I always wanted to say. I've never really understood entrepreneurship when I was younger. But I was like, oh, Dad, he keeps the lights on, he keeps food in the fridge. He's always been that guy, you know, always somebody I can count on. But it's like, do you think you would have been as effective had you just had a regular job? You know, while at the same time simultaneously, you know, raising kids. Do you think you would have been the same cat? You know what I'm saying? You would have think you've been how you are if you just had a job.
So I always knew, even as a little boy, that I wanted to do my own thing.
100%.
I don't know where that came from. My
Yeah,
ancestors, right?
yeah.
But I just knew that I
Instinct.
wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was never about money.
Yeah. It's about the
It
freedom.
was freedom.
Freedom.
See,
Freedom.
freedom. See, freedom.
Freedom.
I always wanted to be free to
Freedom.
do my own thing, my own way,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And I
hear
like
you.
that. That's
Yeah.
all it was ever about.
Yes.
I don't like you telling me what to do,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
And then I've had some people that, wow, they were terrible bosses.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
boss is a plantation.
I don't even like
I
that
don't like
word.
that word.
Yeah.
I don't
Leader.
no.
You know what I mean?
Something.
But I don't like
Employer.
boss. Yeah.
Stop calling people your boss and stop bossing people around,
Bossing,
right?
yeah.
So I've always been a servant leader,
Yes, sir.
right? But
Yes,
never a boss. And
Correct.
so I always knew that I wanted to do something, invent something, create something,
Yeah.
make something,
Mhm.
and then put some wheels on that idea and then watch it go down the road.
Yeah.
So that's how I live my life.
Mhm.
My occupation, let's say I've been doing this for
Yeah.
31 years,
Correct.
or I think my 32nd year.
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
It's changed.
Throughout that time.
It has. So I've discovered every 5 to 7 years, there's been a major disruption,
Mm-hmm.
downfall,
Mhm.
downturn,
Mm-hmm.
loss of business, loss of
And
income,
you pivoted.
problems with people
Yeah.
in this work,
Yeah.
like we don't even want to talk about, right?
Right.
And it's caused me to have to pivot.
Correct.
But I was so used to being independent and on my own, you
Yeah.
just find your flow
Yeah.
because you know that you want to be independent.
Correct.
So you strive to always maintain your freedom and your independence.
And that's
But
priceless.
it is. But maybe like 35 years ago, this was even before I even maybe moved to Seattle. I just moved back to Seattle from Chicago.
Mhm.
And I saw a book, and the title of this book was Do What You Love, and the Money Will Follow.
Yeah.
Finding Your Right Livelihood. Do what you love, and the money will follow.
Correct.
Finding Your Right Livelihood. I think I
Yeah.
remember the author. I never bought the book.
Yeah.
I never bought the book. I just looked at the cover of the book.
And it was
and-
what you
and
needed to see
snapshot it.
in the year.
I never
Yeah.
picked the book up.
Yeah,
Never
yeah.
bought the book.
Yeah.
The woman's name was Martha Sinatar, Sinetar. Google it, see if you can find her book.
Yeah. Right now.
Martha Sinatar, Sinetar. Do what you love, the money will follow. Finding your right livelihood. So Anderson, I never could have had a regular workaday job.
Yeah.
It was
I
never
couldn't
me.
see you like that.
No, it was never me. And that's okay for other people. It just wasn't for me. That said, no, I wouldn't have been as happy, right? And then the kids that I hang around with, the adults that I serve, the cities I go to where I teach math, it's just like, it's everything to me. And I'm free. You know, is that book still out there?
No. You said Sine. What was it?
Sine.
Oh.
Sinetar.
Yeah. S-I-N.
Etar.
Oh, okay, boom. There we
There we
go.
go.
I just had it wrong.
There you go.
Books. Bam. 1987.
Yeah, that was the book right there. Yeah.
Do what you love, and the money will follow. Just so they can see.
Yeah. Do what you love, and the money will follow. People can't see.
Yeah, that's okay.
Find your right livelihood.
Yes.
Okay, so if you put money first,
That's what a lot of people do.
I put service first,
Yeah.
passion first,
Right.
and then something God put in you is called a talent.
100%.
And you want to actually take that talent
steward it.
and monetize it, grow
Yes.
it
Yes.
by working for that person, which is okay.
Yeah, for
Or
now.
then doing your own thing with that same talent.
Correct.
Michael Jordan, I'm sorry, was never meant to be a farmer.
No.
Stop. I'm not dissing farmers.
Correct.
Michael Jordan was never going to be a farmer.
Correct.
He was supposed to be the greatest ball player, and he is. Nobody's going to
100%.
forget LeBron James.
We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about
2-3.
Michael Jordan and end of story,
2-3.
right? And even after Michael Jordan, I got Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
Forget LeBron.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Kobe.
No hate. He's a great man.
Yes.
Great man.
Yeah.
When we talk about ball skills,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Right? But none of these brothers was meant to be what? Farmers.
Allen
Math
Iverson was not meant
teachers.
to be a farmer.
They were meant to be this.
Who they are
Because
and what
they had
were.
a talent, gift, and skill that was
Correct.
put in them.
Correct.
Find the thing that's in you that just makes you have this insatiable desire and appetite for it. I fly out of the bed.
Yeah, you do.
Push ups, pull up, dips, everything. I'm done. Right? I want to get there.
Yeah.
Right? Frost in the windshield this morning. I don't care.
Yeah, me either.
I'm done. Right? Because I want to get there.
Yeah.
There's something in you, and that's called passion.
Yeah.
And that comes from the God that created you.
100%.
Push that in you.
100%.
Take that. Now, if you take that and put it aside, put it in your pocket,
Just chill.
read all about it,
Yeah.
and go to work, and don't use those gifts and talents, then I don't know.
It's so funny that we're talking about all this because in the last year, like the last week, we had a meeting with some family friends. Weeks to follow, 2025, I've had in the last few weeks, everything we're talking about, I've either dreamt about, talked about, or been feeling. Like since being married, like going to work is lame, bro. Like I've really had this desire, like I'm like, I go to work now and I do what I used to do, like when I was a single person, when I didn't have the priorities I have now, like I could do work. Like it wasn't anything. But now I'm doing work, doing it fast, knowing how to do it, skill,
You did it.
know what I'm doing, but I'm just doing it and I'm like, my mind is like this. I'm like, bro, like life is happening outside. And it's like, I really want this year to be the last year I do the type of work I do. And I've said that to a few people, first time saying it to you, but it's like, I feel it so much now because like, I feel like now being a married man, like I have like, not like I have a purpose, like not if you're married, you just simply have a purpose because you're married, but it's like, now I have a reason. Now I have a why. Now I have a backing. Now I have a somebody who is back and forth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's like that has put in me like I'm getting up, I'm looking at her in the bed, I'm just like, I gotta make something shake, man. I gotta make something snap, crackle, and pop.
I remember that same moment,
and it's so crazy.
And I kind of got like, oh wow, these people right there relying on me.
That's what it is. You feel honored, scared, happy, sad, and it's like good. It's a good,
and you signed up for it
willingly. Yeah. And I'm going to continue to do
have to stay there.
100%.
Have to stay.
Well, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. Right. I'm not going nowhere till death.
Yeah.
And so, but at the same time, it's like it's a good kind of place to be in because one that lets you know you're thinking, you're in tune, you're aware, you want to make something snap, crackle, pop, you want to make something go, and it's like it was like a couple weeks ago. I'm gotten up, showered, clean, everything, and then I get up and I kiss her bye one more time, and I just look back. If I close the door, I'm like, nah, man, something got to change. And nothing was bad.
Yeah.
Nothing. I'm not in a bad space. I'm not hurting. Nothing like that. But it's just like. Nah, like I want to get up and like, yo, B, you wanna go to Y one day? I want to wake up and go, hey, yo, that car you've been talking about, let's go to CarMax, see if they got it in pink. Whatever it is. Like, no diss to people who work jobs, no diss to people who are entrepreneurs. But like, I'm not supposed to be in my body for as long as God has me, and just supposed to just be clocking in.
That's true. I'm
not supposed to be in my body for as long as God had me, and I'm just asking somebody else, can I go on vacation?
Yeah.
I know we've had conversations like this, but like after a while you just get angry and nobody's doing anything to you. But you just go, life is not supposed to be like this. Life is not supposed to be like this. And so I really have been in the mindset. I've been reading some books lately. I've been cracking down on certain things. Bro.
Always read.
Keep that going.
See all these books here?
Yeah. Library in there too.
Everywhere. Read.
And so it's like I'm making things shake this year. I'm sacrificing time with the homies, good brothers that I kick it with. But I'm just like, maybe they got something going on right now too. And I was like, nah, I got something I gotta do. And it's like all good. Love them. No smoke, no shade. But I was like, nah, man, things might be people might be hearing no from me more and yeses to other things.
There you
But
go.
it's like,
so what you're feeling
yeah,
is normal.
yes,
Natural.
and I've known you, and I know you had felt that before.
A lot, right? So it's an unction. Something
Yeah,
is stirring
yes.
up inside of you, right?
100%.
Knowing that there's something more.
Yes.
But remember, you have something in you. Something in you. That
Yes.
is who you
Definitely.
are.
Yeah.
Talent, gift, skill, whatever.
Correct.
So you meditate, you pray,
Yeah.
you focus on that. And you get really dialed in to kind of find out, what is this thing, right? Or maybe some event can happen, like to me. But just get yourself in the mindset. There's something for me.
Yeah.
See, pray, meditate it.
Correct.
Ask the Lord.
Correct.
But the thing is that whatever that thing is in you, don't force it out. It's gonna naturally come out because it's who you are.
Yeah.
It's what
you were
your
created.
essence. It's your essence. It's who you were created and fated to be.
Correct.
Right? That thing. And see, that thing right now is trying to take root and blossom in you right now. That's why you're feeling like that. So it's a natural thing. It's okay. And it's there. It's gonna come forth. And then you and I will come here one day
and we gonna
celebrate.
Yes.
Have a steak.
Yeah.
An adult libation. Right? And talk about, hey, here it is. Because it's your path.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
I was a soldier.
Yeah.
For some years. Right? And I liked it.
Yeah.
And I was young, and I had a passion for it when I did it.
When you did it.
But I knew I was never a career soldier.
Yeah.
Right? I just said, in this moment in time,
this is what I am now. Yeah.
Here it is, right?
It's simplified.
Right. I mean, right now.
Yeah.
But not forever.
Right.
Not all my life.
Yeah, and I know that about what I'm doing. Correct.
So things will happen, things will change.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And even my career, again, it's changing.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. But see, I know that it's happened before, so it'll happen again.
Self-awareness.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you're at the very start of this thing.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. I just feel blessed. I feel honored. I feel excited for what's to come.
You should feel excited.
I'm not looking at it like, no, I'm just like, something's getting ready to happen. I'm getting ready to hear something, learn something, do something. I'm getting ready to make something happen.
So every day, wake up and practice what I call positive daily affirmation.
Yeah.
Oh, Dad, you got the app. Bro, I knew this when I was sleeping outside in the ground in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Between the age of 14 and 22, I was intermittently homeless and hungry. Bro, there was no app to tell me to think positively or visualize anything.
You had to do it,
or
it wasn't
on
going
my own.
out.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember one time I was sleeping outside at the Securities and Exchange Commission building on Louisiana Avenue. It was October, and I had a hat on my head, a jacket. October, it's cold. I'm shivering. I'm going to sleep outside tonight. I'll shower in the gym in Howard the next day.
Right.
But here's the thing, right? That night I said, bro, you got to become resourceful, resilient, and resolute. Right?
Yeah.
And I realized that I just have to take charge of my own life. Yeah. And you know what I told myself sometimes too? So watch this. Nobody really cares. Nobody really cares. Nobody alive knows that your stomach is growling right now.
Correct.
But you.
Correct.
Nobody knows that you need to shower in that gym tomorrow before you go into class.
Yeah.
But you.
Yeah.
And guess what? Nobody cares. And that's not wrong.
It's not.
They're not supposed to.
They're not supposed
that's
to
your
know.
life.
Correct.
So you take personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? And things kind of work out. So kind of feel like I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid about it.
Correct.
Something's happened.
Correct.
I'm going to take a risk and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Others have done it.
Yeah.
Others have done it.
Yeah.
I'll do it too.
Yeah.
Right? But that's there for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfolding for you.
100%.
Not for me anymore because I'm
you're
past the first half of my life.
You're in the
past
end.
the first half of my life, right? Really,
Yeah.
it's all over for me.
Right.
Well, kind of, right?
Yeah.
But for you,
the beginning is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Now you're in it.
But see, look at
You're
all
in
the
race.
chances I took in the first half of my life.
Yeah.
When I was young.
I was in the first half of your life.
You
technically.
Were, right? And then even before that, when I was in my 20s, you came along, I was in my 30s when I had you.
Yeah.
Okay, so be a person who's not afraid to make risks.
Yeah.
Take risks. Create situations.
Correct.
Try the things because if you don't, you'll always years later say, I wonder what would have happened if I did it. You'd be one of these woulda, coulda, shoulda.
brothers. Yeah.
and you don't want
I
that,
don't want to be like that.
right? So that's there for you. But also too, right?
Yeah. Always normalize death.
Yeah. And this is
Always talk about it.
always talk
Always,
about it.
because it's normal. It's
Yeah.
supposed to happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
And
So when we're together,
yes, sir.
and you know we've done this before, just not on
100%.
camera, right?
100%.
We talk about your father's passing.
Correct.
And then one day my picture is going to be somewhere on this wall,
Yeah.
right, along with your ancestors.
Yep.
See, these are your mother's people. These are all my people, but they're
Right.
all your people.
Correct.
All your ancestors,
All come,
right?
yeah, I come from all.
You
Yeah.
come from all these people. But one day your father is going to be there.
Correct.
And I really want that to be the easiest transition. You might tear up a little bit, but then
Of course.
my dad, he told me we talked
prep.
about it. The more we talk and prep about the day I'm not here,
Yeah.
right? Now my father is how old this month?
92
92.
this year.
January the 31st. Your grandfather is 92.
Still in his right mind.
Still in his right mind.
Still
He gets
got
his
it.
card, does anything he wants to do,
God
right?
bless him, yeah.
Right? Okay. So he's never talked to me a lot until late last year
Mhm.
about what he expects, what he wants, or what he hopes, or his
Just his
property,
thoughts and
his
ideas.
thoughts, yeah, his thing
Yeah.
for life. Okay, but I want to always talk to you about that,
100%.
right? And what
I always want to hear it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and just to go on, right? And you're gonna have a great life and those sorts of things. So
100%.
let's just make talking about the day when you don't have a dad
Wow, yeah.
very, very what? Normal. Normal.
Absolutely.
Oh, Daddy always said one day he wasn't going to be here,
Mhm.
and look, he's gone.
And that can come from me in that when that time arrives.
Yeah,
100%.
right? But let's just always be knowing that yeah, you have a dad, father, and son.
100%.
Hey, all that stuff. One day it's going to be like no,
Yeah.
right?
One day it's gonna be like,
Mm-hmm.
I am that
Yeah.
now.
But there's something about not having a father, and I don't know what that's like to have a father.
Right.
Mom was gone, but I have a father.
Right.
When you're gonna actually be like, there's nobody to lean up against
Yeah.
anymore. There's no
more
props.
no more pillars.
No more pillars, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're gone.
Yeah.
And all of my elders,
Or
they're every one of them.
gone, yeah.
They're gone. All the men who helped me when I was younger
Yeah.
and all across this country,
Mhm.
good men, solid
Yeah,
men,
100%.
they're gone.
Mhm.
They're gone. Okay, and there's not one of them or a man like that that I can pick up and call
Yeah.
because they're gone.
Yeah.
And see, now I'm the elder.
Correct.
See? Right?
Yeah.
And so just know that that's normal.
Mhm.
That's a part of life, right? And you know where I'll be with Jesus, right?
100%.
Absent from the
absent
body,
from the body.
Present
Present
with
with
the
the
Lord, right? So that's just how that whole
Powerful.
thing goes. That's what it's going to be. So,
We did it today.
yeah, I think we're probably
This was
good.
really good.
Yeah, and we didn't plan this hooded shirt.
That's
right?
crazy. I've had this for a
Right.
couple months, but I'm throwing it on
Yeah.
today.
And then when I got up this morning, I threw this on, right?
W's.
And
W's all
went
across
out
the
the
board.
house. Hey, man, let's see. Not next week, but week after. That's
Yeah.
in February.
That's gonna be the day
February.
before the Super Bowl.
February.
If I'm not mistaken, that's gonna be.
What day in February?
Oh, that's gonna be the first.
The 1st of February, that's Saturday.
First. Yep.
Right. So
Okay.
come back over here, same
Okay.
place, same time,
Mhm.
right? And we'll have another conversation.
That's what we'll do.
So I think today we talked about risk.
Yeah.
Risk.
We talked about risks. We
Person.
talked about models. We
Mhm.
talked about.
Oh, I didn't mention this book, right?
Oh,
I'm gonna
true.
throw this in really, really fast. So
Please.
your great friends, right?
Yes.
Enoch, I won't mention his last name.
Yeah, good brother. Very good
Oh
brother.
my gosh, the man's salt of the
Powerful
earth.
brother.
He gave me this book, and it talks about how a man should behave in the second half of his life.
Correct.
First half, you take risks, and this
Mhm.
guy is saying that.
Yeah.
But what do you do, or how is your life definitively different in the second half? Right? You should be a different person.
Yeah.
You should have.
You should have
something to say,
overcame certain
right?
certain obstacles.
Village idiot, villager, or what?
Uh-huh.
Village elder.
Yes.
Well, see, in the second half of your life,
You want to be
what
the
are
elder.
you doing for somebody else? Right?
Correct.
This
How
is
you
your
helping?
book, right? So you don't need
Yes.
it right now, right?
Right.
It is for me.
Yeah.
Halftime.
Yeah.
Second half, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. I think we're good, huh?
Yes.
All right.
Be well.
Thank you.